Just having a sneak fag at the window quickly. Headphones in. I think social services are going to put a stunt on me on Monday, so I've got a lot to just get out my head and think about right now. And I've talked it through with a few people and they agree. I've got headphones on, so I'm talking to you through listening to some stuff. So it's really quiet out here. It's lovely. I've got headphones on not to piss the neighbours off with my stereo. Core strength. Physically, mentally, spiritually. We've all got to find that place, whether we like it or not. We've got to work, train, think smart, because like what is going on is just absolutely fucking mental. So anyway, I've just got to deal with things my way at the moment. So for those that don't know, I have complex trauma. Why do I have complex trauma? The world is beautiful and people are cunts. It's not loud enough. I need my headphones on, really. But for you, it's not fun. Oh, my blue box is gone. What are these people across there? I have to put my headphones on. I can't carry it. So I have to come and talk to you guys on this channel now, because it's what's called cognitive dissonance, but it's a decision, and it's a decision that I have to make that it's really sort of out of my hands, to be honest, at the moment. So for those that want to know, I've got some best of vocal deep house from 2000 on. If anyone wants to send me some music to dance to, I'm quite happy to just trial and error and see how this works at the moment, because it's all experimental. I just want to get out of my head in a way that, as a diagnosed Asperger's, whether I am or not, a brain scan will tell me soon enough, won't it? So, and as an EDSer, for those that don't know, that's Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's the physical body condition that I listen to. I've just got to fuck off for a minute. You can stay with me, chat with me, I'll chat with you. It's just fucking shit what's going on. It's nuts. And then I'm getting other people telling me, you know, I'm backing a losing one, and the child deserves better, and other people, and it's like, the system's just flawed. It's as simple as that. What's coming before you is just mental. You don't get it. I mean, there's lots of greatness coming into this, but it's coming from a place of control, and their intentions is not coming from a place of deep truth understanding from you guys, from us, the mere peasant mortals, from the people that weren't educated in such a way, that weren't taught about money and education of money and management of money and managing time. And well, you can't manage time. Management of time is an illusion. It's an illusion. It's all an illusion. It's all a It's the biggest fucking scam ever right now. And the more people that just tune into, to think of it as a radio station. So think of it as this. Yeah, good old style radio. I've got headphones on in my phone, but you got to tune it in to the right channel. The channel is right for you. It's a shame you can't see. So anyway, basically here in the UK, there is a pitfall, a trap, a gap within the system, and really good people are causing significant harm to people and actual terrifying fear and emotions to people that they're just not trained and qualified to go through. Do you know what I mean? It's like, people are just getting overloaded with the media, with school, and people are also coming out of this, like, you're going to be told you're going to be staying at home, working from home. It's only going to be for so long. And then next Christmas, you're going to be still, creating an office space, thinking this is going to be, and for a lot of people, I've been arguing to do this for years. Do you know what I mean? So I have to wonder whether or not, if I do this, whether the people that step forward are going to be appropriate enough to do this, because the representation of people that protest over their children being taken. I mean, even Dean said he was walking through London and there was a couple, and it was like Kelly, like, thank God your banner's not there. It's like, he said, it's, I don't know, just, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do when everybody seems to be so powerless? MPs are all on leave. Everybody's on leave. It's all being done through Zooms, and some of the courts are open. Criminal courts is open, of course. Some family matters are, but not all. A lot of people aren't even having contact. Most people haven't had contact all the way through. Some places are open, some aren't. Family courts being done through Zoom. And they said this was going to happen in the media last year anyway. So, I mean, the BBC have done a brilliant write-up of, like, what's to become soon. And it's like, how are people not sort of going, instead of, we don't have to pack our fat bags and jump on the ways and run out into the things, but we've got to think logically. We've got to be thinking that we can't be putting all our eggs in one basket, because we're not in mere mortal control of that, because there is this parallel governance around us that exists years and years, hundreds and years and years and years and years old. Like, oh, my phone. Oh, some adverts just come on. That's really annoying. So, basically, I feel like my hands are tied because of my boys. But something strange has happened today, and I was meant to be meeting today with the children's social worker who was going to be here while Adult Children's Social Services rang her phone, because my phone wasn't set up yet, so she was actually helping me. But she then said that there was a conflict of diaries, so it had been changed to Monday. Now, I actually said something I'm not very filtered, and I quite like this social worker, and it's a bit difficult because we know her from when we first got here, because she wasn't a social worker then. She was actually working over at the park over here. And it's a community place, and it's really difficult, and all of this sort of stuff. And people don't understand that. I keep sort of saying to them that, look, you're defamating my character. At the end of the day, I'm an EDS Asperger's mother that occasionally has emergency situations that just needs a correct support plan within my own family. But because social services keep persecuting me and putting me onto child protection, and then sort of like, I mean, if I said to you, like, child protection, first thing you think, child abuser. Well, what do people do to child abusers? Be it physical or emotional or sexual. Yeah. How does anybody ever know? So the difficulty with social care is, the problem is that people with physical conditions, mental health, because we have SEN, all of that stuff, the person who signs the budget, it all comes through that level now. So when I was at university, it was adult social care that used to sign everything off for me. So all my stuff was done through university. So all my equipment for working from home from uni, all my stuff was all done through the like the disability people at the university. But it had to be done with the fact that I was on DLA, and it had to be signed off from an adult social worker. And that's just the way that the system goes. People who don't use the system, and when I say the word use, people who are not service users. So if you haven't got a high dependency child at school that, you know, hasn't got any issues, and I'm not talking about like mum might be a drug addict, dad might be an alcoholic, or they might have even just lost their parents in a car crash or something like that. I'm talking about people that might be dyslexic, and there's very practical dyslexic support for people these days anyway. Autistic, some form of challenges with their own hormones, or they may even be gifted and need extra support because they're so damn talented at something, and they need personal coaches and stuff like that. You know, we have a stigma to social services, and that is a battle within itself. That creates so much fear of what people are going to think, fear of this, fear of that. Some people battle to get the help from social care. Some people even have to sit next to their kids and freaking, you know, wind them up a little bit to show people what they can actually be like with them, because they're desperate for the help with their children. But like I've said, this is not a super nanny situation. This is not a Jeremy Kyle situation. This is a blatant, I mean, look at the model of social care. Look at the straight entrance. So whether it be that you come in it through a child protection order because the police have issued it, or whether or not social services want to do a section 47 on you, or I think it's a section 7 if it's a sexual one. I can't think of all of the other ones off the top of my head, but there's basic different grounds that they want to come in and turn over and have a look at, you know, the needs of your child. So basically, the first fundamentalness of that is, are you a fundamentalist, basically? Are you a radicalist? Are you an outsider? Are you going to conform to the system? Even the psychological reports that are done on you are basically asking you, will you work with the services? You know, it's all done based on tick boxes. It's all done based on, you know, your behavior habits and things like that. And there's a tick box for everything. So you're going to fall into something. So how do we make a judge go no orders? Well, he can't go on no orders. He can't go no orders on this case this week. He can't, because at the end of the day, there are issues with both of the parents, and they don't have the tools and skills to be able to give their daughter the best chance of everything. But who does when they first become a parent? But, you know, parenting is something that, yes, it's talked about in the Bible, but it's not talked about in the Bible in the modern ways that we have to accommodate and assimilate to. You know, the Bible can't talk about Xbox issues because, you know, your child's just throwing the remote control at you because you told him he's been on it too long, you know. And yes, kids can be absolute fucking cunts. They can. You know, I remember Liam lying to me when he was 14 and having to say to my local police officer, you better be in front of me before I go drag him in, you know, because this has been a long time brewing. And, you know, but we were a community village. It was different. Here in the 60s, you've got outsiders, insiders. It's not the same community. It's not like having your good old village doctor, but then that caused problems in itself, that people got misdiagnosed for so many years and it's just one person. We have advanced so much, but we haven't advanced as people.
We've advanced as technology. We've advanced in discoveries of cures for things that, I mean, the flu jab is got just as much media and publication, apart from a lockdown, than COVID has, really, because it's the same motherboard, so, but we haven't advanced emotionally. We haven't advanced in our communication. We haven't advanced in our relationships. And what they're doing with us now, I mean, even just watching the kids getting their GCSEs and the celebrations today that can't go on, that have been going on, that could go on and maybe shouldn't and hadn't. And the whole divide and conquer, which we said was coming, the whole withdrawing so basically, if I get every single one of you to basically just rub your hands together, do it with me, rub your hands together, try and get as much kinetic energy going into your two fingers, rubbing your fingers together. And if you literally try and put your hands together, you will feel, and even your little fingertips, and keep doing it until eventually you can do this. And you will start to feel the energy that goes on between everything that goes on. So with every human person that you have communication, and there is an energy between the two of you. There is a pull. There you go. There goes mine. You can probably even see it. You can even sort of draw it. So you should be able to see. If you've ever seen oil on there, I tried to do it through there. If you've ever seen oil, you have to do it yourself. Like literally, you'll see the vortex of it going around as it's trying to connect with each other. And that's the same as humans. It's trying to create this vortex of connection. And what they're doing is created this complete withdrawal. It's the same thing that they do with social services when they're doing what's called bond breaking. So for me, I'm used to being independent from my mother. I've been independent from my mother since I came out of the womb. I've got strong arms, climbed out the abortion bucket. But for people who have always been in their zone of their parents, I've given the Fridge Master away. That's my marketplace. I've given it away. I've just been giving things away. So basically, take geese, for example, okay? Every birds, particularly geese, and I use geese for an example because it's what gets shot down by the people who go. So take geese for example. So as long as a goose then comes into the world and it's got his mother, then it basically imprints on its mother, does what his mother does, follows on his mother, follows the father. Then they have to guide them across when they change north to south. The parent leads them through, and then they have to find their way back. Now, if they're wild geese and they go off, then they go into the perimeters where they can be shot. So the challenges with social care is if a child falls into that, say, shooting paedophilia network. So we have an epidemic of paedophilia that we need to talk about, a massive epidemic. We also have an epidemic of people really, truly not understanding who they are, what they stand for, what their beliefs are, what their values are, because all of the dogma and all of the education and control has come through forced literature, forced education, forced systematic drilling, forced mind control, forced systematic education, basically, from their agenda, their point of view, their perspective. And it takes a long time for someone, take for example, use for an example, this big orange teddy that I carried around with me for years, that I always believed was bought for me by my father, and he'd worked so hard, and it was the first teddy for my birthday. And that teddy literally was the one that I have a photograph of me laying on in a big red suit, and I've carried it around everywhere. I've dragged it everywhere, right? I've even saved it from diarrhea or vomiting. I've even had it redone. But then I find out that's not actually the true story. And it was actually my mother that brought it. Now, as much as that's nice, my mother's never had the same blessing towards that teddy as my dad had, because my belief system that was my dad had brought it. And it was the only thing that I felt that he had ever contributed to me in that way, because he'd always been dependent on my mum still doing things without me realising it was her, or my stepmum doing it in his name. And he didn't ever have that relationship with me, really. So that teddy was a big thing to me. So to then lose that belief system was a shock. It was a grief. It was like spending your last fiver on a bloody balloon that gets popped as you walk around the corner, and it can anger you because that's like £5 that you really couldn't spend, but your child really wanted that balloon, and it's like, oof, so grief can happen in so many different ways. But for somebody like me and many others in the UK and around the world, this grief is really difficult because we're not criminals. We haven't been arrested and put into jail. We haven't caused physical harm to our children. We've not abused our children. We've not even neglected our children in any way, shape or form. We've just, as children, either been through sexual abuse or witnessed stuff, and we have trauma that's been underlying, that we've had to pack up our troubles because we've had children, and that's what happens. And nobody should have to live with them underlying issues, even if they manage it or cope with it. Some people do drink, some people do take drugs, and that's something that it doesn't matter how many times somebody goes into rehab, until they deal with them underlying issues, they will keep going back and back and back. You can mask things for as long as you can, but eventually it will go at some point, depending whether you have underlying trauma and a lot of stress. My concern for me, and this is not, I don't give a shit about social, I don't give a about police. I've my children, team, my family, my friends, my community, blah, blah, blah. But me personally, I have to think about me here. I know that I have lots of underlying trauma. I know this. And I have keep saying to the services around me that you cannot assist me with that underlying trauma if you're trying to convince me that this is my trauma, when I'm telling you, no, you're not understanding the matter and what I actually went through. This is my trauma. And they're going, no, that's not your trauma. This is your trauma. And I'm going, no, your paperwork is incorrect, and I'm going to have to deal with that if you continue to deal with me, because you're aggravating my trauma. You're actually putting me into situations that is actually causing this trauma in the first place. And you're also now making it so external people are now making different judgments and perceptions towards me, and aggravated by that because of the information that you're sharing with people that is defamating my character. So this is now causing me further pressures and stresses. So when you've got stresses coming on you and you've got pressures from underneath, eventually it will cause some form of mental fragmentation and cause some body, spirit, or body, mind fragment, and it does, or fragment of personality. So say you absolutely love to sing, and then you meet some guy and he says, God, you squeal like a cat, and you never sing again, but you might then sing in the bathroom, or you might sing here, but you never sing in that environment. That's fragmenting yourself. If you can't be your whole self in front of your whole people whole of the time, then you are living as a false mask. You're putting on a persona for a particular situation. Even if it's going to see mummy because you have to do things in a certain way, and you're telling your fella that he has to do this, this, and this because your mummy just won't accept that. That's forcing somebody to live a false ideology of the perception around them. And we can't do this anymore. And we've been doing this for so many generations with this stiff upper lip, this higher upper blah 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 blah, the middle class having to continue things on, the upper class having to go to certain schools, us having mere state schools, and it's taking away the amount of activities that each child is naturally entitled to have. And we don't get to ever explore ourselves, to even know ourselves, because we're being so conditioned and so drived. Like even now, construction or hairdressing, which way do you want to go? Really? You think that's all the options that you got? You want to climb a mountain, you want to go and walk across a pier, you want to go and sit holding hands with someone, you want to have a conversation with someone, you want to design something, you want to build something, you want to create something, make something, invent something, be something, dance something, do something, sing something, write something. It's about activities, not time. We can't live to this, be here at this time, do 3 meals a day, because we're not designed this way. It was manufactured. This is manufactured rearing. This is human rearing. This is human modern day slavery that we have existed within. I'm not saying that we don't need these infrastructures. I'm not saying we don't need housing. I'm not saying we don't need places to grow things, because not everybody within the community is able to do all of this stuff. Not everybody wants to cut hair. Not everybody wants to build a house. Not everybody wants to clean the streets. So we do need these pieces of the puzzles within these dynamics of communities, but we have to have this free movement. Whether people say it's all one order, we have to have this free movement. We have to be able to move between each other's countries without the fear of being shot because we've gone through the Congo and been raped and pillaged because we didn't understand. Even when I went to Egypt, okay, I didn't realize until somebody had used their cash card and they had to jump off the bus, right? And when they got back on the bus, he said, "Do you realise what's around us?" So we were just on a coach. I had my children. We had just like, the person that tour guides and shows us around. And we were in Cairo. And we were six. We were six convoy buses going through. But we had 92 armed military people all around us. And then I learned that the person sitting in front of me was armed military. And not just armed military, we had all sorts in. And it was the weekend before the massive big bombs went off in Cairo. And it's like, after that, it put a bit of a fear for me in traveling. And this fear still exists. One, because of my medical. I wonder, like, if I go over to Spain and one of my kids breaks their arm, that's like $3,000 down straight away. The thing for me is when the missionaries from one of my churches used to go over to China and they used to take Bibles over, it was like, and even over in India, it was like, if you go into these countries to do this, they'll have you, mate. So I do have a fear of going through customs. I do have a fear of some of the things that I do and being detained and arrested. And not because of having to go through that experience, but having to go through the torture of corrupt people who are cunts and doing this, people who don't play fairly. I don't mind entering into their game as long as they play by the rules and they play fairly and they do it the right way. If they were doing that, then we wouldn't have to do this in the first place. It's the fact that they're not doing it, because the initial written word on how to function in a world and bring things together has been done by some really good people that really done some thinking and some really strategies. But they have these things called think tanks, and they set these things up and they do these think tank studies, and it's not funny and it's not big and it's not clever, and it plays with the emotions of people that think there's going to be an answer and a solution for them. And then they find that they're being taken down a rabbit hole they really didn't need to go down. And we have to think and start with our families first. We have to educate our own families first. You've got to get all of your family educated in, I would definitely say, start talking to your family about preparing for Christmas, but preparing for Christmas in a way that you have to prepare for lots of, like all of the states are going to start moving over the next, here in the UK. I can't talk to you about all of the different countries. I can actually talk to you about quite a lot of the countries, but I can't right now. So here in the UK, they're going to divide. I can't remember how many counties we've got at the moment, because they've already started changing them or what they were. So we're going to go down even smaller now. So we're going to take more areas. Eventually, it will go to the 7. So they're going to start playing with this monopoly on who owns the land, who's doing what, Queenie, and all this bollocks stuff. So I believe it will go down to 7 here in the UK. So we're known as England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. And then we've got all the sub-counties in between, blah, 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 blah. They will start getting bordered up. I would probably say by next April, then borders would probably be in place by that sort of time. I feel that Christmas is going to be one massive, big depression for a lot of people. And we have to prepare for that. So we have to make sure that our family and friends, I won't have to, because mine don't give a fuck about me if I was on my own my whole life. Postals not being on, think about the runner that we might have that's going to go and check on people and milk parcels out, start thinking about group and crowdfunding. My connection is unstable apparently. Start thinking about crowdfunding within your families, making sure everybody's got the same savings, making sure everybody's got the same bits, making sure everybody's got the correct storage stuff in. And I mean, call me what you want. Call me what you want. Call me what you want. I'm still going to sit here, whether you listen or not. What I'm saying is do your own research. Like, have a look at China for a state. Have a look at how long they've been wearing masks, why they wear masks. Look at why I keep telling you they're pushing everybody onto universal credits. They are going to push small businesses into it and everything. There's going to be this beautiful, amazing taxation thingamajig incentive to get everybody to come into this apt. And once you come into this apt, it will be a system and this is going worldwide. I said it was universal credits, and I said, be careful because you're going to lose all of this when they change over. So you may find you've got nothing. And then from there, that will become it's actually already got a name for it, but it's basically it's like a social point reward scheme system, and it's good in many ways. There's going to be amazing things for all this, and it will become so, like, already people are hand sanitizing like it's normal and great and fantastic. But do you know what products are in this? Do you know what it's doing to your skin? Do you know what's going on? Yes, you should be washing your hands after the toilet. This was taught at school. We shouldn't have to have a lockdown to teach us basic manners and education and being polite and courteous and kind to each other. We shouldn't have to be locked down to do that. Who's locked down? I find it very difficult to know where you guys are coming from because, of course, I knew this was what was coming and I've still been going out and I've loved it. I'm pissed off you're all coming back out. I lock you all down. Let me walk the streets and be nice in nature. It's lovely. It's lovely seeing people sitting within their own families and coming together. And what I love more than anything is seeing the bit of the prowling father who sits over his family. Like, this is my family space. They sit in here and we're doing, we're having our time. And I like this. I like when I go down to the beach and it's Dumpf, and then we interact with who we choose to interact, and Dumpf, it's nice, it's peaceful, it's quiet. Is it a case of saying, well, yes, you can screen everybody. Yes, you can do psychological reports on everybody. Yes, you can check everybody's temperature as they walk into any office frames or any spaces. Yes, as you walk into a shop, they'll scan you and make sure your temperature is okay. Yes, you're going to be on voice activated things. Yes, you're going to be putting your scanny thing. And yes, you're going to get to a point where everything's on your thumbprint. Yes, you're going to get to a point where everything's going to be Dumpf from Dumpf. Yes, that is going to happen. It's not going to happen right now, tomorrow. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden the police are going to be at your door go, I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we're preparing now for now. Now activities are going to open up within the council structures. They're not even talking about it happening this year. They're not really even talking about the schools even being open this year. They're not prepared yet. Now, private businesses will open up. They will be opened up at a time frame where they feel crisis management needs to come in and do that very quickly. People who are having care packages have been shut down to fortnightly rather than even daily, weekly, monthly. They're being shut down. It's got to crisis management situation only. So they're only just starting to clear the streets, move people off of double yellow lines, make sure there's no actual proper crime things going on. I don't know how it's been for the people sitting in your house. Some people must have loved it. Some people who have worked their entire lives to build a home that they've never actually really been at home. It's probably been amazing. Going out for a bit of a walk, going and getting basics, it's been quiet. It's probably been beautiful, especially for the people that government have paid the wages and you haven't had to worry about, losing people. But they've managed to drop off the cash in handers, the people that are going to be running businesses, that especially those that have been online, people who have been stuck on not getting out and doing their workshops, seminars and events, that are panicking. But I did warn them, they didn't listen. 2 seconds. And then, of course, what's going to come next is you're going to have to go and pay all your bills and all your rent and all that very quickly. And it will be in cash only for a bit. The council will become cash only. So you have to go and pay all your council tax, all of that stuff. The banks will start taking cash in only. I'm sure checkbooks and bonds and all of that stuff are folding. The good thing to invest in right now is copper. Copper. Why copper, if you want to know? It's because that's what's going to be used for pretty much everything, because it doesn't hold bacteria in the ways, and there's something else that they're going to be using as well. So literally our entire planet here on the UK and world, but especially the UK, because it's an experimental planet, experimental island, is that it will be completely sanitized, it will be completely modernized, it will be completely made so people are actually sitting in their own spaces and zones, so they can start preparing you with your where is my headphones? Oh, yeah. So they can start preparing you for sitting in your little space, in your little workspace, putting in your little drones, putting in your little thing, and literally, and they'll also make it so you don't go in at 9 to 5 anymore. So they don't have people passing by, because they don't want interhuman interactions. You're not going to be able to bypass the person at the table next to you in a restaurant and say, hey, do you want to come and sit with us? That's not going to happen. It will be done on such a way where I don't even know how fast or slow this is going to go, because AI is going to be able to read somebody like me quite quickly. I'm in the dark and got the beakers as well, so not all of my things can come in under a features and scan me properly. Hey, Charlie, how you doing? So yeah, I mean, I pretty much now run off an iPhone. I'm building my iPhone to make sure that if I ever have to drop everything and throw it, I just literally throw it all away in the phone. But we are going to have to think smart. We are going to have to think about having an agreement between a community of people that go, well, we're still going to exchange in this particular way, or we're going to do this way. Because by coming, we have to understand how kinetic energy works, kinesis, and going even into, there's so many words I want to unfold, but I'm so tired and I feel so sick and so drained, because I'm dealing with top, middle and bottom and doodah and boomf and moving things in ways. I mean, we've even got a new street cleaner and it's all been switched around and the dynamics have all been changed just because of a couple of comments. And it's like, if they take me to court on Monday, I've got a feeling I'm going to get a notice for court from social, because I don't think these social workers know how to deal with somebody so forceful like me. And I don't know if they know how to work with somebody like me. And it's not because there isn't anyone out there can help me. It's that I'm telling everybody, it doesn't matter how many shrinks you send there to. I just have to live with an acceptance that I never got the bonding with my mother and father. That's not my mother and father's fault. That's not my family's fault. That's not my fault. It's just the way things were. And I have never, ever had those sort of relationships. And that's just the way it is. You can't change that. You can't tell me that I don't accept how bad and deep-rooted that my issues as a child was. I'm very aware of this. It's just that you have to come to a point of acceptance that that's just the way it is. You will grieve. There will be times, like take people with their GCSEs now. There's kids that probably think that people don't give a shit, and it's not about people not giving a shit. They just can't do things in the same way. You're experiencing electronic harassment. Don't know if any police, if it real, frightened. I told family and they don't believe me. Well, you've got to be careful with things, because it's not about paranoia, and it's not even about things that are going on necessarily now. It's about things that are coming before at some point, and it's not about being in fear. It's about being educated and informed. It's about actually going, well, fuck you then. If life's this short and we can't really make the choices that we want if this is continued, the only way to beat it is to just not play their game. It's just to turn the BBC off. It's to let go of all of the information. It's to say, okay, I'm educated now, but don't inundate yourself with it. You don't have to walk around with a big tinfoil. I haven't got tinfoil underneath my hat. There's There's no tinfoil underneath my hat. Do I think strange things are going on around me? Yes, of course. There is somebody very pissed off out there that's trying to do stuff with my internet. Of course. Why not? Why would they not do that? You know, it was pretty fucking obvious, wasn't it? Why would BT cut me off the very next day after that call? Like literally the first thing in the morning. And I think it was probably even done during the night. So, you know, that was clean obvious. So, why would they not want to check what I'm up to? Why would they not be concerned that I've become a bit like a prowling lion around Portsmouth right now? And I feel like a prowling lion around Portsmouth right now because I don't know what to do. That's the problem. I don't know what to do. I know what I'm possible. I know what I'm capable of doing. I know what I could do. I know how long it would take me to call it. I know the moment I have a PA system and I go down to the square and I only have to start running as an MP and I can talk about this shit. They can't stop that. They can't stop me doing that. They can't stop me campaigning as an MP. It's about my only way through this right now. Even everybody that I speak to, the people that I don't put on my lives and talk to, all the officials that do talk to me, they've all said the same thing. The only way for you is to campaign and run and go Donald Trump style, mate. Go Donald Trump style. He came straight out from not through the ranks because in order to become, you know, of somebody in MP here for Portsmouth, they would want me to have done so much, have business here, do this, to be a benefit mum and go straight to MP. They'd be fucking fuming with something like that, especially somebody living here in Edgbaston. Crackheads, smackheads, drug addicts, rehabilitation, all of a sudden runs as MP. I'm not that, but this is where I live. So yeah, that would piss them off. But and it's the way I can open the things here because I say it's open. Recording on my phone, what experience I've got recording on my phone. Tell you what happened in my flat. I can't, do you know what, Charlie, I have to be so careful with things because I do see a lot of paranoia and I see a lot of things with people and I do see a lot of people dealing with stuff, but I also see a lot of truth and I actually have seen a lot of evidence. But it's whether there's so many bigger people than us, there's so many bigger, they've got bigger problems than people like us right now. What I'm saying is do I want to be a problem to Portsmouth? Because is Josie and Josie's baby a distraction to somebody like me? Is it worth it? Is it like a bit of a Snow White situation going on with the person that I've down here cleaning for me that, you know, could be completely trying to manipulate the fuck out of me or might not be? Who the fuck knows? But like, all I know is I want to live in a house with a garden with my kids where I decide who comes and goes. It's as simple as that. And travel and do what I want, when I want, before I want, and make choices and decisions in my own life. But I just can't go off and leave this country without Aaron and Faith, without Liam and Daniel. No, they're not going to leave and travel with me now, the two older boys. Liam may come and join me on little whims and stuff. Daniel may come over for a holiday, and I might get settled to write to Aaron and Faith, but I'm not going anywhere until I'm in this course. 2 seconds. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere until I'm in these courts. Like, I can't see any other way forward for me, or running as an MP. So I just got to carry on. So basically, Dean's back on Tuesday. I'm not sure if he's back. I don't know what time his flight comes in. So he's here Tuesday at some point, maybe Wednesday, maybe early hours, I don't know. So, and I've got this social thing on Monday. But I don't know what's going to happen. I could be paranoid on this situation. I could be preparing. I don't know. They could just come out and do what they're doing and it will be about my move and everything being nice. But I don't feel that's the situation. I think anybody would be really stupid to ever touch my boys. Like, my mum was like this with me over the kids and people just create so much fear. So I need that to stop. But social need to understand the consequence of their actions of what they do by persecuting families, by pointing the fingers at them in the first place, that causes alienation from their community and causes a divide and causes people to persecute them. So they need to stop doing this, especially to people that are going to come under sunflowers. So yeah, anyway, I don't really know what to do right now. Charlie, you're going to have to come and meet me on Victoria Park at some time. I don't really mind. I don't mind being down there when the boys are playing and stuff like that. As long as I got my St. James's cafe, I tend to sort of meet people at. So if you ever like catch up with my lives, or I'm around and about and stuff like that, all I say to anybody in Portsmouth, I don't mind people saying hello and stuff, but like Dean doesn't handle it very well, and I don't like people coming to my personal home. I'm so challenged with that in terms of people in the block as itself, because it's a heavy block in the garden and my own personal boundaries. But I really don't mind meeting people down at my bits and certain points that I have, hot coals. So I tend to meet under the bridge at Hot Coals. I don't mind meeting down at the sailing club, and I don't mind meeting people at Victoria Park. So I'm quite happy with things like that. And as your local Charlie, I've got no problem with us. So just let us know when. And you can sit in all social isolation if you have to. I don't mind all that stuff. So I also don't mind when I'm out and about people. Just it doesn't bother me. A couple of people have done it now, so it doesn't actually bother me. If I've got my headphones on, just be prepared. If you come up from behind me, not so good. You have to really sort of like come up in front of me. If you come up behind me, I might go Wah! But if you come up in front of me, it's not a problem. And if I have to watch my kids, I'm a bit of a funny thing if I've got to watch my kids. So and if anyone ever wants to come on a live with me or do an interview with me, I'm going to start doing all of that soon as well, especially people who feel that they've got a story that they want to talk to. I'm going to start more interviewing people, especially things on history as well, because I really want to do this voluntary stuff for Express FM and things like that. So I'm going to move to doing things like that as well. And also anybody who's doing any dance shows or any artists in action, I'm going to come out and do some filming and live for things like that. So I'm quite happy to come out, even if you're at home and you're doing any training or anything like that. I'm going to be doing some filming like that. And then obviously I want to still get out and about and do people's stories. But what I've said is I'm quite happy to start meeting people to film their videos and their stories, but I need to find somewhere where the boys can do what they need to do. So officially that's David Lloyd. But because of COVID, it's not as free at the moment to be able to just go and do what you need to do, because they've been in a bit of a bubble. So I need to find somewhere. It might be somewhere like Victoria Park, but the problem with Portsmouth, you only have to take your eyes off the kids here, and it's too hard work. It's too hard work here. It really, really is. I need to go back to a home and being able to work from home and have people in an area that's separate from my personal home to my work office and stuff. And that's what I'm going to be moving towards. So I get there slowly. I might not be where I want to be, but I wasn't where I was. And at least I'm moving forward. I'm moving further forward. I just don't know whether or not these people are now getting all their freedom of request and what's going on and all this stuff and why they're playing games and moving. And I did kick off when they turn up, because they keep being late and they know what it does. They know this. They know that I have not seen my kids because I dragged my fucking ass out of freaking A&E after being completely fucking drugged up by them, as in they've had me on a morphine drip. They'd had me on all of the painkillers because I'd done all the subluxation. They wanted to keep me in. I was the one going, I got to get to contact. I got to get to my psychological report. So I went to my psychological report. I went on the train. I went to my contact. It's just that literally I was like 4 minutes and 30 seconds 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and I haven't seen my kids since that day. And that fucking infuriates me because I shut my contact down. And it was a day that the CAF people were coming, apparently, and they didn't tell me that. She was coming to do an house visit with me. So that could have changed everything. And I actually had to drag myself out. So it annoys me when they're late, because when they're late, they can do what they want when they want. But like even Josie, 3 minutes freaking late. And that's not even late for a contact. That was late for the half an hour that she has to be there prior. So, and then she loses contact with their daughter. But they can go, oh, sorry, I'm late. And it's like, no, you fucking come to me that positive, chirpy. I get it. I know it's difficult to park here. I know you can walk just across there. I know you got other cases on more significant, because actually you've got people to do. I get that. Double standards. Don't set the rules and grounds for other people that you can't maintain yourself. No, I don't have that. So anyway, whatever situation's going on is going on, but I don't know. All I know is I just got to keep working on my CV, keep working on me, keep working on me and mum, keep working on, me and Dean, whatever relationship we have, we're still parents to the boys. And I don't think I can ever truly get to a true place of forgiveness with my mum and dad for leaving me through all of this. And I don't think I could ever really have the relationship. I think that damage is done. And I think damage is done with me and Dean as well, that I'm really quite happy on my own. I'm quite happy without the bullshit from everybody. I'm quite happy without people not knowing me properly and trying me to be something that I'm not. And I'm quite happy being me. So I'd rather spend my time with strangers being me than to spend my time with people that spend a lot of time with me that won't let me be me. Do you know what I mean? So I'm quite happy moving around being me. So anyway, guys, I'm going to switch off. It's less than 10 minutes, but I can't be asked rambling for 10 more minutes. And I am really tired, and I was going to go out and watch a film for a bit and chill out with my boys. And I got help coming at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Charlie, you don't do websites by any chance, do you? I'm hoping you're a right computer geek or something, or videographer or something. But anyway, let me know what you do, what your talents are, what your gifts are, or what you would love for your gifts to be, or at least think of 5 things that if you could spend this time sculpting and perfecting and mastering, what would them 5 things be? If not 5 more, if not less, but at least find one. And you've got to make sure by Christmas that you can, I don't know, drive, play the guitar, got your passport, got this, got that. I don't know, whatever it is.